Hello, I'm Colin Hannerty from Hostelworld.com, and if you want to know where to find the best views in the Czech capital and what are some of its lesser known attractions, don't go anywhere because here are 10 things you need to know about Prague. With its narrow cobbled streets and skyline of steeples, Prague is one of Europe's most enchanting cities. Home to approximately 1.2 million people, the Czech capital is also extremely compact, so you can pack lots in a short space of time. And as it's still one of the continent's cheaper capitals, a visit here certainly won't break the bank. Now, here is the first of those 10 things. Prague is divided into 10 different districts. Within these 10 districts are separate neighbourhoods like the Old Town and Mala Strana. Transporting people around the city are 3 metro lines and an efficient tram network. And for the best view in Prague, climb to the top of the TV tower, which you can find here on Petřín Hill. As you walk the streets of Prague, take a look at the architecture because the Czech capital is a fascinating mix of Romanesque, Gothic, Baroque and in particular Art Nouveau architecture. The best example of Romanesque is St. George's Basilica in Prague Castle, while St. Nicholas's Church in the Old Town Square is one of the city's finest Baroque buildings. Also in the Old Town Square are the Church of Our Lady Before Tyne and the Old Town Hall, 2 good examples of Gothic architecture. And walking the streets you can see Art Nouveau architecture absolutely everywhere. Dating back to the 9th century and overlooking the entire city is Prague Castle, which is without a shadow of a doubt Prague's #1 tourist attraction. The highlight of the castle is the Gothic St. Vitus's Cathedral. Make sure to go inside to see the cathedral's interior and its colourful stained glass windows. Other highlights include the Old Royal Palace and Golden Lane. And make sure not to miss the main changing of the guard, which takes place daily at noon. Known locally as Stare Mesto, Prague's Old Town is one of the most charming in Europe. The focal point of the small area is the Old Town Square, which is always bustling with people. It's also full of cafes and restaurants, but these are quite expensive and best avoided. And branching off the square is a series of quaint, narrow, cobbled streets. One of the most popular things to do in the Old Town is catch the Procession of the 12 Apostles, which happens here at the astronomical clock every hour on the hour. But after seeing it, you might want to know what all the fuss is about. If you're looking to avoid the crowds, check out some of Prague's lesser known attractions, like the John Lennon Wall, which is only 5 minutes walk from Charles Bridge. Anti-communist activists first started painting on this wall in 1980, although in 1998 it was whitewashed. But once again, today it is a mix of anti-war and peace slogans. Other less visited attractions include the Museum of Communism, which presents an account of communism in the Czech Republic, the Museum of Torture, which has a collection of some fairly horrific medieval torturing instruments, and Kampa Island, a tranquil space just below the west side of Charles Bridge. Prague is home to 2 of the Czech Republic's most important museums. The first of these is the National Museum, which overlooks Wenceslas Square. This huge museum is home to both permanent and temporary exhibitions. The other is the National Gallery on the Old Town Square, where you will find a large collection of paintings from the 19th century. While the National Gallery's main building is on the Old Town Square, they actually have permanent exhibitions at different buildings throughout the city. One of these is the Black Madonna House here on Ovocny Ter, and here you will find a collection of Czech Cubism art. Just north of the Old Town and south of the River Vlatva is the old Jewish neighbourhood known as Josefov. It's home to bars, restaurants as well as a series of synagogues. The main attraction in Josefov is the Jewish Museum, but unlike other museums, all the collections aren't contained in one building. Instead, they're spread out in the different synagogues throughout the area. And also part of the Jewish Museum is the Jewish cemetery, which is over 600 years old. All over Prague you will see signs outside restaurants stating that they specialise in traditional Czech food, and this usually comprises of things such as goulash, dumplings and lots of meat. And if you're looking for a restaurant that does good traditional Czech food, check out this restaurant here. It's called Usebmish Vebu and it's on Nerudover, which is over in the Malostrana. They do all typical Czech foods such as roast pork, goulash and dumplings. If you decide to go drinking in one of the bars in the more touristy areas, you'll find the drink is quite expensive. Instead, you need to find a local Czech bar for more reasonable prices. So if you're looking for a Czech pub with good cheap beer and a cool atmosphere, come to this bar here. It's called Usulu. It's in Basillica, which is just off Wenceslas Square, and just like most Czech pubs, they serve the local specialty, which is absinthe. Nam zdraví. Another Czech bar worth noting is U Rudolfina on Krishnovichka Street, just north of Charles Bridge, and downstairs you'll find a traditional beer hall. As you walk around Prague, you'll notice lots of advertisements for blacklight theatre. This is a unique type of theatre where actors perform in a pitch black theatre with fluorescent costumes and props. And one of the best places to go and check out a blacklight theatre performance is the Valdo Tafantistica, which is just about 3 minutes walk from Charles Bridge. Their Prague theatre dates back to 1989, and when we visited, the show being staged was the extremely entertaining aspects of Alice. So that is our 10 things you need to know about Prague. Hopefully you'll pick up some tips from what you just saw. For a fact sheet on everything that's in this video, log on to www.hostelworld.com/videos, and for the biggest and best selection of hostels in Prague on the internet, stay in the same site.